A dream vacation to Mexico with friends turned into a nightmare for 25-year-old Shankella Robinson, a vibrant young woman from North Carolina.
25-year-old Shanquilla Robinson, who died while on a trip to Mexico with friends last month.
Initially reported as alcohol poisoning, the story took a shocking twist when a leaked video and an autopsy report revealed something far more sinister: foul play. Today, we will uncover the events that led to Shanquella Robinson's untimely death, the disturbing revelations that followed, and the ongoing fight for justice. In late October 2022, Shanquella Robinson, a 25-year-old businesswoman and entrepreneur from Charlotte, North Carolina, traveled to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, with a group of friends. The trip was supposed to be a relaxing vacation filled with sun, laughter, and celebration. Shanquella, known for her bubbly personality and love for fashion, was excited to spend time with her friends in paradise. However, within 24 hours of arriving, things took a tragic and fatal turn. On October 29th, just a day after their arrival, Shanquella Robinson was found dead in her hotel room. Her friends, who had accompanied her on the trip, told authorities and her family that she had died of alcohol poisoning. They claimed that Shanquella had been drinking heavily the night before and became sick. The group contacted local doctors who, according to reports, tried to revive her but were unsuccessful. Shanquella was pronounced dead, and her friends returned to the United States shortly after her death. Initially, the story seemed like a tragic accident, another case of a young person succumbing to alcohol during a night of partying.
Thursday, and it said that her neck had been broke and she had a spinal cord was cracked. So that took it to a whole nother level.
And what they would discover in the coming days would raise serious questions about what truly happened to their daughter. While Shanquella's friends claimed that alcohol poisoning was the cause of death, the autopsy report told a different story.
Her cause of death was a severe spinal cord injury, but the Mexican autopsy said Robinson died from a broken neck.
These injuries were inconsistent with alcohol poisoning and pointed to something far more violent. Shanquella had likely been physically assaulted. The autopsy report listed Shanquella's cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is a dislocation of the first vertebra at the base of the skull. It noted that her death occurred within 15 minutes of sustaining the injuries, which suggested that she had been attacked shortly before her death. In the days following the release of the autopsy report, a disturbing video surfaced online that would change the trajectory of the investigation.
In November, this video showing an alleged fight went viral on social media. Now, we don't know if she sustained those injuries described in the autopsy during this fight, but her family says this is Shanquella in the video.
While the person filming does nothing to intervene. Instead, voices can be heard in the background, encouraging the attack.
Can you at least fight back?
Shanquella, who appeared disoriented and defenseless in the video, never fought back. This footage was a shocking revelation and strongly suggested that her death was not an accident or the result of alcohol poisoning, but rather the result of a brutal assault. The video went viral, sparking outrage on social media and leading to widespread calls for justice. People began questioning the role of Shanquella's so-called friends in her death and why they had lied about the circumstances. It became clear that there was much more to the story than initially reported.
Autopsy told us what had actually happened to her, and so that took it to a whole nother level because they're saying that it was alcohol, and alcohol was not the cause of her death.
Shanquella had been the victim of a violent assault, and her friends had likely played a role in covering it up. The family sought help from U.S. authorities, pushing for a thorough investigation and the extradition of those responsible for Shanquella's death. After the release of the autopsy report and video, Mexican authorities reclassified the case as a homicide.
We start with the latest in the death investigation of a Charlotte woman in Mexico. The State Attorney General's Office of Baja California Sur has filed charges in the killing of Shanquella Robinson. The agency also says the extradition process is now starting.
Mexican officials also reached out to U.S. authorities to request assistance in the investigation, as the suspects had all returned to the United States following Shanquella's death. While Mexican authorities took swift action in issuing an arrest warrant, the process of extraditing the suspect to Mexico has proven to be complicated. Extradition is a legal process in which one country hands over an individual to another country where they are wanted for criminal charges. In this case, the U.S. would need to extradite the suspect back to Mexico to face charges related to Shankela's death. However, extradition is often a lengthy and complex process that involves cooperation between governments, legal reviews, and diplomatic considerations. Despite the international attention the case has garnered, as of late 2023, the suspect had not yet been extradited, and no formal charges had been filed in the U.S.
They had a video that went viral. The whole world seen the video, and there's been no arrest since October the 29th.
My Lord.
What kind of system is this?
Right, my Lord.
I just don't understand it.
Extradition between the U.S. and Mexico is governed by a treaty, which allows both countries to request the transfer of suspects to face criminal charges. However, extradition requests must go through multiple legal and diplomatic channels, including approval by the U.S. State Department and federal courts.
Mexican prosecutors are trying to get an unnamed American extradited to Mexico to face charges in the death of an American tourist.
However, the process has been slow, with legal experts citing several potential barriers, including bureaucratic delays and the high standard of evidence required for extradition. Extradition cases often involve complex diplomatic relations, especially when a high-profile case garners international attention. The U.S. government must weigh the legal rights of its citizens against the evidence provided by the foreign government. In Shankela's case, the extradition request has raised questions about whether the U.S. government is moving quickly enough to deliver justice. There are also concerns about the fairness of the Mexican legal system and the treatment of U.S. citizens facing criminal charges abroad. These factors can further complicate the extradition process. Despite the challenges, Shanquella Robinson's family, supporters, and civil rights advocates continue to push for justice. They have called on both the U.S. and Mexican governments to expedite the extradition process and ensure that those responsible for Shankela's death are held accountable. Advocacy groups and social media campaigns under the hashtag #JusticeForShankela have kept the case in the public eye, demanding action and transparency from authorities. While the road to justice has been slow, the pressure remains on for a resolution that provides closure to Shankela's family and answers to the many questions surrounding her death. Shankella Robinson's tragic death has left a lasting impact on her family, community, and the countless people around the world who have followed her case. She was a young woman with dreams, ambitions, and a bright future ahead of her, taken far too soon in an act of senseless violence. Her story has highlighted the dangers of betrayal by those we trust and the importance of seeking justice no matter the obstacles. As the investigation into Shankela's death continues, her family remains resolute in their fight for accountability. They want answers to the many questions that still surround her death and demand that those responsible face justice. The case has also shown a light on the complexities of international criminal investigations and the extradition process, raising important questions about how justice is served across borders. Shankella Robinson's story is one of heartbreak and injustice, but it is also a call to action. We must demand justice for those who cannot fight for themselves and ensure that their stories are not forgotten. If you or someone you know has experienced violence or injustice, speak up and seek help. Join us for more true crime stories that reveal the truth behind the headlines, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates on cases like Shankela's.